Fruits are the second healthiest foods on the planet after vegetables.
Imagine if there were a drug that could decrease your risk of dying by 1/3.
The best thing that I can do is to take a fruit and showcase it with as little meddling as possible.
You need to realize the important difference between sugar in its natural form, the way nature intended, versus these so-called industrial sugars.
We have to take control. Even if you are just able to do it once or twice or 3 times a week, that makes a huge impact on your health.
For millions of years, humans have been developing an important symbiotic relationship with fruit. Trees and plants depend on us to disperse seeds from their fruits across the countryside. And we have come to depend on those fruits for a delicious and vital source of nutrition. But new research is revealing that our relationship with fruit may run much deeper than we ever imagined.
According to the Global Burden of Disease Study, the largest study of human risk factors to date, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, the #1 dietary risk factor for death and disease worldwide is not eating enough fruit.
Fruits are the second healthiest foods on the planet after vegetables. They're sweet, they're delicious, they're full of water, they are full of fiber, very high in phytonutrients and antioxidants, and those are basically cancer-fighting, health-promoting foods.
Humans are naturally drawn to fruit, especially ripe, sweet fruit, because we're primates, animals that evolved eating fruit in the trees. Monkeys and apes still spend much of their days searching for fruit and have been selected to prefer the ripe, sweet kind because it contains more sugar for energy and water, which can be hard to find high in the trees. That highly developed palate for sweets and the power they provide remains with us to this day.
We need fructose. We need naturally occurring fructose from fruit in our diet. Fructose is a component of complex carbohydrates. Our bodies run on that fuel. We need to eat that every day. That's the energy that we use to fuel our movements, to fuel our bodies to function. And so we have to get those complex carbs. That's the engine on which we run.
Unfortunately, the vast majority of fructose we consume today doesn't come from fruit. Food companies realized the powerful draw of sugar decades ago and have been adding large quantities of it to processed foods ever since. From breads and sauces to soft drinks, sugar has become a hidden core ingredient of most modern staples. And that refined sugar is missing several critical components that are essential to our health.
When we eat something like white table sugar, we're basically eating something that has been processed. It started out as a sugarcane salt, and it's been processed into white table sugar crystals. In that process, the fiber is removed and most of the nutrients are removed. And so you're basically eating empty calories. And that's the problem with sugar. So it's empty calories, it's very addictive, it's the #1 added ingredient to all processed and packaged foods. Americans eat about 30 tablespoons of sugar a day.
You need to realize the important difference between sugar in its natural form, the way our nature intended, versus these so-called industrial sugars. That sucrose, table sugar, and high fructose corn syrup have a very different effect on the body. So the reason we're concerned about sugar intake in general, this excess added sugar intake, is because pretty much liver health, high blood pressure, and high triglycerides, high fat in the blood from too much sugar intake. Well, fruit intake is associated with actually the reverse. The more fruit people eat, they actually have better liver health, they have better blood pressure, lower triglycerides. Diabetics on high fruit diets have better blood sugar control than diabetics with restricted fruit intake.
The consumption of added sugar has increased rapidly since the dawn of the industrial age, leading to an epidemic of obesity, cancer, and other serious illnesses. One recent study found that people who consumed roughly 20% of calories from added sugar had nearly 40% greater risk of dying from cardiovascular disease than those who consumed less than 8%. These stunning findings are leading many health experts to recommend major reductions in the amount of added sugar we consume from processed foods.
Ideally, World Health Organization is pushing for 5% added sugars a day. American Heart Association is at 10%. For some people, that wouldn't even allow a single can of soda a day. That's how concerned they are about added sugar intake, but they're not talking about fruit. In fact, they've done studies where they've given people dozens of servings of fruit a day, and we actually see just beneficial effects on their metabolism. So absolutely, we should stuff our face with as many fruits and vegetables as possible, but indeed eliminate or reduce on a day-to-day basis our consumption of added industrial sugars.
A 7-year study of more than 500,000 Chinese adults found that those who ate fruit regularly cut their risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by roughly 1/3. Even basic fruits, like oranges, provide critical phytochemicals, antioxidants, and fiber that boost our immune system and lower our blood pressure and glucose levels. But nutritionists are quick to point out that how you consume those fruits matters.
What I recommend is that people eat fruit as a whole food. That's the best way to eat it. So a whole apple instead of apple juice, a whole orange instead of orange juice. When you eat the whole fruit, you're getting the fiber. And so what the fiber does is help to make the fructose, the natural fruit sugar that's in the fruit, to enter your bloodstream slowly, and so it doesn't spike your blood sugar level. If you're just having fruit juice, you're not getting any fiber, it's gonna spike your blood sugar, and then you're gonna crash. It's actually very dangerous, especially for people who experience diabetes.